In this video, we look into how to balance chemical equations. First of all, we need to know what are balanced chemical equations and why do we need to balance them. A balanced chemical equation is a chemical equation in which the number of atoms of each element is equal on both sides of the equation. What does this mean? So it says number of atoms of an element on reactant side is equal to number of atoms of that element on the product side. That means if there are 10 atoms of an element on one side of the reaction, that is on the reactant side of the, it should be equal to 10 atoms of that particular element on the product side as well. Got it? So this is in accordance with the law of conservation of mass. So as per the law of conservation of mass, the total mass of the elements present in the products of a chemical reaction is equal to the total mass of the elements present in the reaction. So the balancing of a chemical equation is essential or necessary to fulfill this particular law. Okay. So the law of conservation of mass has been put down in the description box. You may have a look at that. So we'll proceed with balancing some equations now. Okay, there are 5 easy steps to follow while balancing chemical equation. So the step 1 says count the atoms on each side of the equation. Let us take an example to illustrate this. So our equation is Cu plus O2 gives you CuO. Cu is copper, O2 is oxygen, which gives us copper oxide. Now we need to count the number of atoms on each side. So to do that, what we do first is we can draw a line over here dividing the two sides. This is your left hand side. Mark this as your right hand side. Then we need to count the atoms. Remember, the left hand side, this is your reactant. These are reacting with each other, giving you products on this side of the equation. Now we need to count the atoms. Before that, we need to see how many elements are there. You have copper over here on the left hand side and you have oxygen over here. Then what else do you have over here? Again you have copper and you have oxygen. How many atoms of copper are there on the left hand side? 1. So we mark this as 1. How many are there of oxygen on left hand side? 2. So we mark this as 2. Okay, so there are 1 and 2 on the left hand side. What about the right hand side? There's 1 of copper and 1 of oxygen. 1 of oxygen over here. Right. Step 2. Only the coefficients can be changed. What are coefficients? They are the numbers in front of the element over here, okay, in front of the atoms. Like over here, since there is nothing in front of either of these, it is assumed that it will be 1 over here, 1 over here and 1 over here. So these are the only ones that we can change. We cannot change the subscript. No, not allowed. We cannot touch them. So only the coefficients can be changed in order to balance the equation. Now over here we have, I'll just erase this part so that it doesn't confuse you. Rewrite it. Okay. Now we have 1 of copper, 2 of oxygen over here, and we have 1 of copper. So this needs to be balanced. The copper on the left hand side and the copper on the right hand side are the same. However, the copper on the right hand side is not the same. So if we need 2 over here, we need to multiply it with 2, which means on the right hand side we need 2 of oxygen. So what do we do in that case? We put this as 2, and if we change this as 2, then this we circle it to show that we have changed it. Now it becomes 2. We have got 2 of oxygen balanced with 2 of oxygen on the reactant side, but in trying to put 2 of oxygen, we have got 2 of copper as well. So we need to change this to 2 on the product side. Now we have got only 1 on the reactant side, which means we'll have to change this to 2. So we can change this to 2, and this will change to 2. Now you can count the number of atoms on either side and see that they are balanced. So you have 2 of copper on the left hand side, 2 on the right hand side, and you have 2 of oxygen on the left hand side and 2 on the right hand side, that is on the product side. Step 3. Start balancing equations with the compound that contains maximum number of atoms. So it's saying in an equation we need to look at compounds or element that have got maximum number of atoms. Let that be as your starting point. So we have an equation in front of us which is S8 plus O2 gives us SO2. Now we begin once again, same thing, we draw a line over here and divide this into left hand side, right hand side, list down the elements which are present, S which is sulfur and O which is oxygen. Same way over here, S and O. How many atoms of sulfur are there? 8. How many of oxygen? 2. Over here on the right hand side we have 1 of sulfur and 2 of oxygen. So oxygen atoms are balanced as we see. Let us begin with sulfur. It has maximum number of atoms. So learning from the previous example, we begin with sulfur, wherein it says 8 on the left hand side and only 1 on the right hand side. So if we want 8 on the other hand, on the right hand side, we multiply it by 8. So this should become 8, and if this becomes 8, that means we need to put an 8 in front of the coefficients. Remember, only the coefficient changes. This small little numbers over here do not change at all. Got it? So only the coefficients change. The coefficient in front of sulfur dioxide, before I could change it, was 1. It's 1 over here and 1 over here as well. So if I put 8 over here, the sulfur gets balanced on both sides. But what happens to the oxygen, which already had 2, that gets multiplied with 8. So this now 2 becomes 16 on the right hand side. So if it becomes 16 on the right hand side, we need to change it on the left hand side, which is still 2. To balance it, we need to multiply this by 8. So this will become 16. So if we put 8 over here, 8 2s are 16, and we've got it 16 atoms of oxygen on the reactant side as well. Now you check and see whether they are balanced. 8 atoms on the left hand side, on the reactant side of sulfur, and 8 atoms of sulfur on the product side as well. 16 atoms of oxygen on the reactant side and 16 atoms of oxygen on the product side. And this is how we balance the equation. Remember, do not touch these subscripts. We only change the coefficient, that is the number, before the elements or compounds. This is a compound, this is our element, this is a molecule of oxygen, this is a molecule of sulfur. Got it? So step 3, to keep in mind that we balance equation, we begin with the maximum number of atoms, the compound that has got the maximum number of atoms. Step 4. Count all polyatomic ions as one item. Let us see what are polyatomic ions. We have an equation CaSO4 plus NaNO3 gives us CaNO3 and Na2SO4. So which are the polyatomic ions over here? The polyatomic ions are these: SO4, NO3, NO3, SO4. So what we are trying to say over here is we have to club them together, okay, and not as separate S and O and N and O and N and O over here and S and O separately. So if we put it down and divide it into two halves, we have the left hand side and the right hand side. So we put it down as calcium, then SO4, then Na and NO3. Okay, that is how we need to do it. Similarly over here we put it down as Ca, SO4, Na and NO3. Now we count how many atoms do we have of each of them. Calcium, on the left hand side we have 1, SO4 1 again, Na 1, NO3 1. Calcium on the right hand side is 1, SO4 on the right hand side is also 1, sodium Na is 2, so we put 2 over here, and in NO3 we have, see, we put it in bracket, there are 2 of them, so we put 2 over here. So we'll begin with the atoms or molecules that have maximum number of atoms. So we'll begin with NO3 first, and NO3 has got 2 on the right hand side but only 1, so we put this, make this as 2. So if this is changed as 2, that means 2 needs to come here, in front of sodium nitrate. This is sodium nitrate. But if we multiply 2 with NO3, it also gets multiplied with sodium on the reactant side. So this changes to 2. And if we change this to 2, it's balancing 2 on the product side as well. So wonderful, we've got it balanced. Do we need to change anything else? I don't think so, because calcium, there's only 1 atom on the reactant side and 1 on the product side as well. Sulfate, SO4, is 1 atom of it on the reactant side and 1 atom of it on the product side. And sodium, we have 2 on the left hand side here and 2 on the right hand side, and nitrate, we have 2 on the reactant side as well as 2 on the product side. So this is how we balance in case of polyatomic ions. And the fifth and the final step is, remember to always count all atoms. If you miss counting an atom, chances are you will not be able to balance the equation. Let's take an example to illustrate this. Example is lead nitrate, which is PbNO32, reacts with potassium iodide, which is Ki, to give you lead iodide, which is PbI2, plus potassium nitrate, which is KNO3. Let us list down all of them. First of all, we look that there is a polyatomic ion here and here. So we list them down as one unit. So we draw a line, left hand side and right hand side, and we write down all the atoms first. So we have lead, then you have nitrate, which we have potassium, and we have iodine. Same way over here, we list them all down first. How many of lead? Just 1, right? So there is only 1, the coefficient is only 1. How many of nitrate on the left hand side? 2, because it's in the brackets and there is 2 mentioned over here, 2. How many of potassium? 1. And how many of iodine? Just 1 on the reactant side. What about the product side? we have 1 of lead once again, 2 of iodine, we put them down over here, 1 of potassium and 1 of nitrate. So let us begin first with the polyatomic ion, because it has got 2 on the left hand side. So if you have 2 on the left hand side, 1 on the right hand side, we need to multiply the product side nitrate with 2. So if you put 2 over here, that means 2 needs to come here. So now we have the NO3 balanced at both ends. Now since we multiplied this entire compound with 2, even potassium becomes 2, and so we change this from 1 to 2. And now that potassium has been changed to 2, we'll have to balance it on the reactant side, which is 1. So we change this into 2, that means we multiply it by 2, and 2 will get multiplied here. Now that we have multiplied 2 with potassium iodine, to get 2 atoms of potassium, we will also need, we get 2 atoms of iodine on the reactant side. So this will become 2. This balances with iodine over here. What about lead? It is already balanced, so we don't have to alter. Have a look again, count all the atoms to ensure that you have got your equation properly balanced and nothing is missing. Go over, once you complete balancing, go over it once again, see if all the atoms on the left hand side and the right hand side, on the reactant side and the product side, match with each other. Lead, we have 1 atom, 1 atom. When we do rough work like this, we also need to check at the same time in our equation, have we balanced or not? Otherwise we'll leave it in our rough work it's only. Always check in your equation, because your equation is what matters, not your rough work. So lead, 1 on the reactant side, 1 on the product side. Nitrate, 2 on the reactant side, 2 on the product side. Potassium, 2 on the reactant side, 2 on the product side. Iodine, 2 on the iodine side, 2 on the product side. And this is how we get our equations balanced. So remember, there are 5 steps. Follow these 5 steps and you will find balancing any chemical equation very easy. I hope you all have understood how to balance the chemical equations. Watch the next video and we will solve some equations, look to balance the equations, and this will give you some practice. Thank you for watching.